Greetings and welcome to STEM Inspired, where we utilize personal stories and experiences to interest the possibility of a STEM profession in adolescence.
I'm your host, Jacobs Nest.
Today on the show we have a civil engineer. She loves building, built tree houses, and even landed in poison ivy. Please give a warm welcome to Amy Milanes. Could you tell us your name and what you do for a living?
My name is Amy Milanes, and I'm a civil engineer for building and safety for the County of Los Angeles.
What do you do on a daily day?
Well, my duties include looking at any grading and drainage that is occurring with new building or grading projects, and I make sure that what they're proposing can happen and it meets the minimum code requirements to make sure it's safe, to make sure it's actually doable, and so forth.
What is the best part about your job?
Every single job is completely different. I get to go out in the field a lot. I get to go out and see projects happening in action. I get to see a lot of grading happening, large scale grading. It's a lot of fun and it's got a lot of variety. So I'm not just stuck behind a desk or out in the field completely. I kind of have a nice mix of both.
What is rewarding about your profession?
Getting to be a part of the whole process of construction, to be honest. I get to see it from literally the ground up. I get to see it before it's even touched, and then I get to see the completed project, and get to be a part of that whole process. So it's rewarding to see the end result and know that I was a part of that.
Did you have interest when you were younger to your profession?
Not really, to be honest. I mean, both my parents were just high school graduates, and they held down pretty basic jobs. I didn't really have any influence in that. I always knew I liked math and science. Those were my main, and I loved building Legos and doing puzzles and stuff like that. But other than that, no, I didn't really know this is what I wanted to do until I was about 19 or 20. I had already gone through a couple of years at Pierce and Moore Park at community colleges.
So when you were younger, around 8 to 14, what did you imagine you would do for work?
I love to be outdoors. So I thought maybe a marine biologist was what I really thought I would be when I was younger, but that didn't really come to fruition because I wanted to swim with dolphins. And how many people get to actually swim with dolphins is probably not that many.
So what kind of hobbies did you do when you were younger?
Mainly puzzles and sports. We'd build forts outdoors. We'd build tree houses, which were probably not the safest things. And I played lots of sports. I rarely had any free time, to be honest. I was swimming, playing basketball, running track, doing volleyball.
Is there a memory that stands out to you, like when you maybe built those tree houses?
Well, my brother and a couple of our friends, we went up north one time and we built a fort up in the trees, and they thought it would be a great idea to use a wrought iron fence spanned between two trees. I think I was probably like 6, 7 years old, somewhere around there. My brother's 4.5 years older than me, so all the boys were older, and I wanted to go up in the treehouse. Well, they didn't tell me that they only were able to connect 3 parts of the fence to the trees, and so you shouldn't go on the other end. I crawled across, it flipped, and the wrought iron fence almost landed on top of me, and I landed in a lot of poison ivy. And I helped my dad build one in our backyard, and that was a lot of fun. I loved building. I always have loved, hammering, making something, doing something outside. So I helped him build one, and it was a lot of fun. That one, I think, is still up in our tree. That one lasted forever.
Can you tell me someone that has been either the biggest influence in your life, either a mentor or a professor or anyone?
I think my dad actually has probably been my biggest influence. And he's one of those guys where he didn't go to a day of college in his life, but he is by far the best in his field and what he does. He's a mechanic, but they tried to replace him at one point in time, and 2 kids with master's degrees couldn't replace what he did because the knowledge he had. He did, dyno testing of the Formula One engine, listen to an engine and know exactly what's wrong. It didn't allow not having an education to hinder him, and he always encouraged me to do what I wanted and strive to be the best I could be and do what I wanted to do. So I think that's the biggest influential person I've had in my life in terms of helping me become who I am.
Was there any of those lessons that your dad taught you, the hard work and dedication, really help you out later on?
Oh gosh, yeah. There were several times I wanted to give up, especially in school. Oh my gosh. I basically did my entire engineering course, which normally takes about 5 years, in 3.5 years, because I got horrible advice when I first went into community college, and I got my AA instead of my AS because nobody told me there was such a thing as an AS. And when you don't know what to take, you just, they go, do you know what you want to do? I said, not really. They said, well, why don't you just get your AA? I'm like, okay. You think they know best and you don't really question it. And so I did that. I didn't have any of my math when I went into CSUN. I didn't have any of my sciences that I need when I went to CSUN. No physics, no nothing. So when I started doing 17 units a semester of all engineering courses. One specific semester, I took Calc 3 and differential equations at the same time, plus 3 other engineering courses. So that was, if I didn't have my dad's constant encouragement, man, I don't think I would have gotten through, because I was coming home in tears. I can't do this. I'm quitting. But, we're like, you know what? Just take one day at a time, one test at a time, one class at a time, and you'll be able to get through it. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I did. Engineering is not an easy route to take, but it's very rewarding in the end. Now I have my PE and I'm doing what I like.
What advice or information would you give to children who would like to enter into a STEM profession?
Do what you love. Focus on what you really excel at and find something that suits you. But I would just encourage them to just keep on trying. Figure out what you really like. See how you can fit it into your life, and just try to enjoy every moment of it, because it really is just a job, but you should enjoy what you do so you don't have to dread going to work every day. Figure out how your interests can further your enjoyment of life, not just what can make me the most money, but what makes me happy at the same time as gets what needs to be done.
Well, thank you for taking the time to share your story.
Thank you. It was very, very nice to meet you.
Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed our program. STEM Inspired is a project of VC STEM Ventura County's cross-sector network to improve educational outcomes in the STEM fields from early learning to career. STEM Inspired is generously funded by Arconic. Innovation engineered. Please join us next time as we continue to dive into the lives and experiences of STEM professionals. As always, I'm Jacob Zinehas. Discover new things. You never know when an interest can become a passion that can change the world. This has been STEM Inspired.